How's it going, folks? Welcome back to my channel. Wanted to talk a little bit about a Halloween project that I took part in a while ago. I haven't been making videos recently because I've been having a lot of webcam and computer trouble. Hopefully, while I've got this webcam going, I can make a video. Anyway, so Halloween is coming up and a lot of people are doing certain things like watching a movie every day for the 31 days of Halloween, like my friend Ian, who is known on YouTube as Forkerball. I'll put a link to his channel below so you can play along with him. Now for me, I watch horror films all throughout the year, so for me it's not all that special to approach Halloween, and I don't care that much about holidays anyway. So I decided to read my way toward Halloween this year, and I took part in a little project started by one of my YouTube friends, a gentleman named Dustin Neely. I'll put a link to his channel below too, who decided to read Frankenstein, the novel Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, for a Halloween project. And I'd never read it before. And when he made this video announcing his project, I had just happened to pick up this beautiful illustrated book from Barnes & Noble. And I thought, okay, this is a good incentive to actually sit down and read this, because I have a tendency to let books pile up for years and not read them. So I decided to go ahead and do this, and finished it a few days ago. Thoroughly enjoyed this book. It wasn't all what I was expecting. I was so fixated on the movie by James Whale starring Boris Karloff that's what I thought I was going to be sort of channeling when I read this, you know, gothic dark castles and all that. And it wasn't like that at all. It was very much a cerebral kind of a character study as much as anything else of Victor Frankenstein, the man who decided to play God and create a human being out of dead bodies. So wasn't all what I was expecting, but I really enjoyed this book. And I told Dustin in one of my comments on his videos that I tend to be intimidated by what I consider to be great books. So I'm glad I had an incentive to actually dig into it, because it turned out to be much more enjoyable and easier to read than I had expected. So thank you very much. This is a beautiful book, by the way. Terrific illustrations all throughout. And this is the 1831 revised edition that Mary Shelley decided to do. The first edition was from 1818. So what's interesting about this particular volume is it's divided up into 3 volumes, okay? So when you get to chapter 8, get to the end of chapter 8, and then all of a sudden you start volume 2, right? So anyway, very beautiful book. I enjoyed it. Now, after I picked this up and started reading, happened to go through my bookshelves. I had completely forgotten that I already had this copy, which I got from Barnes & Noble years ago. This is part of the Barnes & Noble library. I don't know if you can see that, but I had this copy sitting on the shelf for years, gathering dust, still gathering dust, and I never got around to reading it. So I have this. I also have another book that I picked up at Barnes & Noble many years ago, which was on sale, Penny Dreadfuls, okay, which I happened to open. And this also has Frankenstein, and this one has the 1818 edition. So it's not the revised edition. It's a little bit different, and also has many other short stories, one of which I remember reading from another book. It's called Wake Not the Dead, which is a really creepy ghost vampire story from the late 1800s. And so I'll be digging into this before Halloween as well. And I've already read Dracula a couple of years ago. I don't know if I may reread this at some time, but thoroughly enjoy reading Dracula. And I also have a book of short stories by H.P. Lovecraft, which again has been on sale, $7.98, sitting around for a long time. And I'm starting to dig into it. The only book story I've ever read is called, what is it called? I can't see. The Shadow over Innsmouth. The Shadow over Innsmouth. And the reason I decided to read that is I picked up a film by an independent filmmaker named Joshua Kennedy, and he made a film called The Innsmouth School for Girls, which is based on that story. And I thought I would read the story before I watched the movie. They're quite different. But anyway, that's my little project for Halloween. And once again, I want you to visit my friend Ian, visit my friend Dustin, and check out their channels. So anyway, hopefully if the webcam keeps firing up, I'll be back again. Comments are welcome.